What's good, YouTube family? This is Engineer Pat 5290 coming to you with May's Q&A answers. I gotta say this was a really good one, guys. This one was a really good one, and I just want to say thank you to all that have participated in this one. I really had some fun with this one again. First up, we're going to be starting off with Hamburg Rail Fan, who asked a couple of questions. What are your thoughts on the CSX First Responders and Veterans Unit? They're both pretty units, and I'm really glad that CSX has taken the time to honor our first responders and our military personnel. Any rare trades you plan on seeing this year? I'm still working on that. It's a really good question, but I am currently still working on that. So, might have some surprises in upcoming videos. Next one, Stephen KCS Railfan lists 12 questions. Favorite CSX paint scheme? Without a doubt, YN2 paint. It looked best on most of the EMDs. Also like the YN2 yellow version on the AC6000s. Do you like NS or CSX versions of the First Responders and Veterans Unit, or are they both great? Norfolk Southern wins on a majority of it. I will say this much. Norfolk Southern wins on both the veterans and the first responders. Out of the CSX fleet, the first responders I think was a little bit better. Is Altoona on your to-do list for rail fan spots? I have personally been to Altoona. That is a very, very awesome place. I plan to go back soon. Do you think CSX should have had actual heritage units like what NS and Amtrak and UP have instead of the stickers? Yes, I agree with that because the sticker units are pretty much, I just don't like them. Wheeling and Lake Erie or Pan Am? I like both, but Wheeling and Lake Erie has more EMD. Burlington Northern or Conrail? Conrail for the win. How many of the special scheme prototype DC to AC locomotives have you seen in person? In fact, I've only seen 4000 and 4001. Hopefully I'll be able to see the others. Favorite ATSF locomotives? Red and silver war bonnet for the paint scheme, but mostly anything that wore the red and silver throughout the 90s and even the F7s and the F3s. And I also like the blue bonnets as well. But those are some of my favorites. SP 4449 or the UP 844, SP 4449 for the win. Do you think 4001 will still be a blue Sonic bonnet? Yes, there's a good possibility on that. How would you feel if CSX did a short-term lease just like NS used to do? I really don't have an opinion on that. If it was just a short-term lease on some things, I mean, it really wouldn't matter to me. I mean, railroads are railroads. Genesis or the Siemens turbochargers? Genesis for the win. So thank you very much there. Oh, and it looks like a new user, Steve Wibby channel, has a list of 10 questions. Glad to see you're still coming around, buddy. Have you or will you chase the Santa train on the clinch field? That's been on my list for a while. Hopefully I'll be able to get up there soon. Do you have plans to go to Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum at some point? I actually went there in 2012. Have you seen any narrow gauge trains before? No, I have not, but I've heard there are a lot of good places to get some. Favorite CN paint scheme? I like the current logo that they have, but my favorite fallen flag paint scheme, GTW, Illinois Central, and I also like Wisconsin Central as well, and also like the Bessemer and Lake Erie. If you're given a choice, would you restore the NNW 1218 or overhaul UP 3985? I wouldn't mind restoring both. I would not mind restoring both. Which do you prefer, a Y, nickel plate 765, Pan Am 1225 or Cena 2716? I would prefer those. And on the USAT 1702, which I've actually seen, or the Southern 630, I've seen the 1702 on the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad. That's a beautiful steam locomotive. Alaska Road of Gulf in Ohio, Alaska Railroad. CP or KCS, KCS for the win. Mustang or the Camaro, I love both. So thank you very much. Railfan Hunter comes in with 4 questions. Standard cab SD70 or the 60? Definitely the SD60. SD70 is number 2. Which do you prefer, BNSF or CP? Definitely BNSF. Do you plan to take any trips out west? Not sure yet. I'm going to have to think. Have you ever railfan Roanoke? I have done Roanoke plenty of times. A beautiful city. Oh, Vermilion Rail fan, first time I've seen you, man. Thank you very much. I have one for now. Have any plans on visiting the NS Chicago line? That has been on my to-do list. Hopefully, I'll get up there sometime and do some trains. Eastern Coast Productions comes back in. Southern High Hood Jeep 30 or the High Hood SD 40-2. Love both as long as they're in Southern paint. NNW GP9 or the SD 40-2. I like both. SAL or the SCL. Man, that's a double whammy. That's a really good question because I love Seaboard Coastline, but the better half, Seaboard Airline. Seaboard Airline was the cooler half of the merger. Then they were merged on July 1st, 1967. That's what created Seaboard Coastline, and they kept the old ACL paint. You think NI should rebuild the Dash 8Ws? It would be nice to have that little inside upgrade, and possibly rebuild the Prime Mover. So thank you very much. BNSF Bishop comes in. Difference between the conductor and the engineer. The engineer just drives the train. The conductor is in charge of the train, which means he's in charge of the paperwork and directs all shove and all yard movements slash set off movements like shoving movements, coupling cars, unclipping cars, things like that, and he calls out the signals. Do you like the C44 ACMs? Oh, the rebuilt AC 6000s? Yeah, I'm glad UP is rebuilding those. Favorite NS Heritage paint scheme? I love all 20. Favorite UP Heritage scheme? I love all the heritages from UP. Favorite horn show? Shaving a haircut out of the taps and the jingle bells. I love the taps as number 2. Jingle bells number 3 because it fits at Christmas time. But I love a shave and a haircut. So thank you for the questions there. Andrew Leab comes in with 3 questions. What is your favorite diesel for Amtrak existence, F40PH, and also the E8s? Next favorite, Dash 8W, and then the Genesis. Which steam locomotive do you prefer, the Big Boy or the Southern Pacific Cab Forward? UP Big Boy for the win. Which steam locomotives that you're currently undergoing restoration are you most excited to see running again when they're finished? I'm really glad to see the Big Boy coming back. Really glad at that. So, thank you very much. Braden Walston, glad to see you're on, buddy. Favorite railroad out of today's railroads, Norfolk Southern. Fallen flag has to be the Southern. Favorite trucking company? I have so many favorites. All trucking companies are different, but I love a lot of trucks. Favorite train on the Norfolk District? Man, that's a good question. Favorite intermodal? It's got to be 23G for the road, VO7 for the local job. For the manifest, has to be V18 and V17. And also all the coal and hopper and grain trains. So they're my favorite ones there on the district. Now, Union Pacific Rail. Oh, thank you very much for the questions. Union Pacific Rail Productions comes in. This is a really good question. If you build your own railroad, what would you name it and where would they go? I would just call it the Tidewater Railroad and serve the local Tidewater area. And what locomotives would you have? And he lists some here, which I think, and he gives an example here. I would really think, I would have mostly EMDs like SD 40-2s, GP 38-2s, SD 70 ACEs. I would have pretty much an entire EMD fleet on mine. And I would connect it with Norfolk Southern and CSX in my area. But this is a really, really good question. I would even have some of the older power too, like maybe a couple high hood GP30s. Transcontinental Railroad Productions comes back in, has a few questions. Have you railed been CSX Sandpatch Grade on the bucket list? Yes, I do, because that's a very heavy, busy action there on the B&O that I really want to get. If you could ride behind any steam locomotive, what would it be? Norfolk and Western J611. If you could ride any private car, what would it be? Any private car would be fine. So thank you guys for your questions there. Hunter Evans comes back, and glad to see you're back, buddy. Both horn-related questions. Would you prefer an SD70AC with RS3L or ES44AC with a P5? Oh, Hunter, that's a good question. Two of my favorite horns. I would really love to see both, though. P5 on the ES44AC would sound good, and same with the RS3 on the Ace. Now, adding on, if you started your own railroad question, what horns would you have for the locomotives? Anything that's old, RS3Ls, RS5Ts, P3, P5, K5LA, Um, K5Ls, any of those older horns would be good. So if you want to tag on to a question, guys, feel free to do so. Thanks, Hunter. This was a really good question, and thank you for your questions and for subscribing to my channel. And thank everybody for subscribing to my channel. Take username comes back in. Glad to see you're coming back, buddy. What's your favorite film of the past year? Last year was just so good year. I saw a lot of good stuff. One of my best catches was the safety train on Norfolk Southern. If you were to write a book, what would it be about? Probably about my rail fanning experiences and how I got started, and explain how I started from playing with trains to actually filming and photographing trains now. That's one of the books I would love to write about. If you could go anywhere in the world to train sea, where would you go? I would not mind going to Canada. I would really love to see CN up there. Would you prefer to drive, go on a cruise, or fly somewhere? Would rather drive it. Rather see the country. Marvel or DC? If you're referring to cartoons, Marvel's good because of Spider-Man. I do love Spider-Man. So thank you for your questions. Logan Detwiller comes in. He's one of my new guys. Thanks for coming in. What's your favorite song that mentions trains in the song or the title? Long Black Train by Josh Turner and Johnny Cash by not Johnny Cash, Casey Jones by Johnny Cash. Excuse me, I am so sorry. Do you plan on reopening the Newcastle sub? Possibly. That's been on my list. Like the wheeling in Lake Erie? Yes. Favorite paint scheme from that railroad? Love the Rio Grande Tunnel Motor rivalry because the tunnel motors were cool. Consider Nathan P3 a favorite of yours? It's decent. It's really decent. It's very close to a P5. I love both of those. Favorite N&W steam locomotive? 611. Next is 1218. Next one is 2156. Have you seen the movie Unstoppable? Oh, yes. Love that movie. Favorite old locomotive shop that built the famous steam locomotives that people loved? I kind of don't understand where you're going at, but he built steam locomotives. Possibly Altoona, Pennsylvania. That was on the old Pennsy. I believe they built steam locomotives and also built the GG1s. Favorite steam locomotive still in service as of now? J611. What's your favorite thing about rail fanning in the past and today? It's just the experiences that I've had and plus the advantage of the internet. And I think the internet has been a very good source where I can look up building information, post videos to YouTube, and also post pictures on Facebook and things like that. Really good question. Final question from Sesame, Georgia Rail Fanner. Excuse me. Have you ever been invited to a cab of a Gevo? No, I have not. I'm sure some people have, and I hear they're really nice, but it would be cool to sit in one of those GEs. But first of all, I would like to say thank you to all that have participated in this. I greatly appreciate it. June's prompt is coming right around the corner, so if you didn't have a question this time and you want to ask one in June, hey, by all means, ask away. Prompt is going to be coming out, and of course, you will be asking away with your questions. So, first of all, once again, thank you all very much for asking your questions, and I look forward to having some more fun in June. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm Engineer Pat 5290, and just remember, be safe around railroad tracks, and always go as a group, and take care of each other, and make good decisions. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm Engineer Pat 5290, and I will see you on the next rail adventure. Peace out, guys, and be safe.